Okay, so she's one of Japan's most controversial politicians, right? But the thing is, she keeps winning support. So what's really going on here? To figure it out, we've got to look past all the noise and really dig into her strategy.
First off, let's talk about the historic breakthrough. In October 2025, Sanae Takaichi became Japan's first ever female prime minister. I mean, this wasn't just some personal win for her. This was a huge deal. It absolutely shattered a massive cultural and social barrier in Japanese politics, basically breaking what a lot of people thought was the ultimate glass ceiling.
But of course, this incredible achievement comes with a ton of debate. So the real question we have to ask is there an actual coherent strategy behind all her policies? Or is this just a bunch of moves designed to grab headlines? All right, let's dive in and really break this down.
So the first pillar of our whole platform is all about a really aggressive economic revival. The goal? It's pretty straightforward. She wants to make Japan abundant by tackling inflation head-on and really kicking growth into high gear. And get this, she's not just talking. She is backing this goal with some serious capital. We're talking about a massive 21.3 trillion yen economic stimulus and anti-inflation package. Now, to be clear, this is not some minor tweak. This is a huge injection of cash into the economy. So the big question is, where's all that money actually going?
Well, the funds are being aimed at three main areas. First, direct subsidies for electricity and gas to help you and me with those crazy high utility bills. Second, financial support for small and medium-sized businesses, the ones that are really the backbone of the economy. And third, assistance for families to help with childcare costs.
And it's not just about subsidies. She also made a really tangible policy change. She got rid of the gas surtax that had been around for over 50 years. This was all about making an immediate impact, lowering fuel prices for everyday people and for crucial industries like transportation.
But this strategy isn't just about putting out fires with immediate relief. No, it's also about a long-term vision. Takaichi set up a new economic strategy headquarters. Think of it as a command center to centralize and funnel public money into the industries of the future. We're talking AI, semiconductors, space, and defense. The whole point is to really sharpen Japan's competitive edge on the world stage.
Okay, so that economic push is paired with a second and equally important pillar, making Japan strong. And this part is all about boosting national security and making the country more resilient, especially in today's, well, let's just say uncertain world.
And the scale of this ambition is pretty clear. The plan is to ramp up Japan's defense spending to 2% of its GDP. Now, that's a huge benchmark for NATO countries. And the goal is to hit that target ahead of schedule by 2026. So you see, this isn't just about throwing more money at the military, it's a fundamental rethink of the entire national security strategy.
But, being strong isn't just about military might. Japan is incredibly vulnerable to natural disasters, so Takaichi is pushing for a new, unified national disaster management agency. The idea here is to stop having these fragmented responses and instead create one single powerful agency to handle everything, from prevention all the way to recovery, and of course to strengthen the infrastructure itself against future threats.
All right, so we've got an abundant economy and a strong nation. The third pillar is what ties it all together, and this one is really ambitious. It aims to reshape Japanese society itself, from how people work to how they raise their families.
One of the key targets here is something known as the 1.03 million yen wall. Basically, it's a tax threshold that honestly discourages a lot of part-time workers, most of whom are women, from working more hours. So her administration is looking at reforming this and other rules like it to tackle labor shortages. The idea is to make it way easier for women and older citizens to really participate fully in the workforce. And to support families in that workforce, there are some pretty bold proposals on the table, like making high school tuition and school lunches completely free. This is being framed as both a social and an economic policy. You reduce the financial burden on parents, which expands educational opportunities for kids, and then in the long run, that encourages more people to join the workforce and could even have a positive impact on population trends.
So, all of these policies really do form a comprehensive strategy. But what's fascinating is how this strategy has been packaged and sold to the public, because that is what has ignited some of the most intense national debates we've seen in a long, long time.
This is her official slogan, and it perfectly sums up those first two pillars we just talked about, making the Japanese archipelago strong and abundant. It's a really powerful patriotic message, right? It just captures her core vision for the nation's economy and security in a nutshell.
But then there's this, a simple 3-word remark, work, 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 that completely captured the public's imagination. So much so that it actually became a buzzword of the year for 2025. And yeah, this is where things get really, really controversial.
The debate pretty much split the country right down the middle. For her supporters, this was a much-needed call to action, a way to rethink Japan's culture of diligence and boost national productivity. But for her critics, they saw it as a totally tone-deaf remark that threatened work-life balance and maybe even signaled a return to Japan's infamous overwork culture. This contrast, right here, is the perfect example of why she's such a divisive figure.
So when you really take a step back and put all these different pieces together, the policies, the slogans, the controversies, what you start to see is a clear, multifaceted national strategy. This isn't just a random collection of ideas thrown at a wall. When you look at the whole picture, you can really see how it all connects. Economically, the goal is to strengthen domestic demand. In security, it's all about enhancing deterrence. Socially, the aim is to grow the labor force. And culturally, well, her very presence as the first female prime minister, plus all the debates she sparks, seems designed to shift social values. You see, every single policy connects to a bigger objective. And this brings us to our final question. Her approach is this really clear mix of substantive, super ambitious policy on one hand, and on the other, rhetoric that just splits public opinion right in two. Whether you love it or you hate it, you can't deny that it's incredibly effective at getting attention and building a loyal base. So it really leaves us wondering, is this combination of bold policy and divisive rhetoric the new blueprint for power, not just in Japan, but maybe even beyond?